Going into Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, we have 1 week left. And the WWE used this show to truly emphasize how much they want you to watch it. And to be honest, I don't really have a very strong feeling for Money in the Bank. I really don't. They really tried though. Opening up the show, New Day was trying to sell this 4-way tag team match that's coming up in Money in the Bank. They were trying to sell it as much as they could. Try and emphasize it. At least until Xavier Woods looked at Kofi's sneakers and thought he was a damn geriatric. You need to have your Geritol. That was an actual thing, ladies and gentlemen, but it was not meant for the geriatrics. It came out in the 1950s. It was kind of like drink your Ovaltine, something good and healthy for you. That's what it was originally. That's how it used to be. That's how it was back then. But it was funny seeing them try and emphasize Kofi's sneakers. Then they went to, oh my goodness. I'll say this about Big Cass. His speaking has gotten a lot more prevalent and gotten much better. I'm very happy to see that the time that Enzo was away from him, he felt his own legs under him and he's able to talk a lot better. He has a certain style, even though he does that little pause periodically while he's talking, but that's his style. And I felt that was pretty damn good for him. And then basically saying, Kofi, how you sporting those old Geritol sneakers? Well, you know it's not like that. But essentially, he's got rheumatoid arthritis and he's wearing some orthopedic sneakers. It was funny. It was. Francesca too, getting blown by somebody else other than Xavier Woods was a bit funny. But then the tag match came. The only spot I enjoyed was Kofi doing a helo and getting rid of the vaudevillains. Other than that, seeing that Kofi jobbed to the club, I didn't really care that much about. Here's another thing I don't care about. This tag team match for the women's at Money in the Bank. I don't give a damn about it. I don't understand why they're doing this. Paige was an afterthought. I felt sorry for Paige. She beat Charlotte. What does that mean for her? Does that mean she's going to have a 3-way with Charlotte and maybe Natalya, Charlotte with Becky? No. It's a tag team match on Money in the Bank. Why? And then this little bit between Dana Brooks and Charlotte, it just felt forced to a certain extent. And then it felt kind of useless to a certain extent because this really isn't working that well. This entire situation with the women's title does not work. It doesn't. It would have been better if you allowed Sasha Banks to have the title. It would have been better. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. If you really believe that Charlotte's a good champion, and I'm not harshing on the woman, but the way she's been booked without her dad, it made no sense. She had not been built that well after the breakup after that, and now having Dana Brooks makes it worse. I just don't care. Zack Ryder had a match. Zack Ryder had a little segment before that, making everybody laugh at Sheamus because he got his ass handed to him a little bit by the Apollo Crews. I would say Creed, but he's got no hair. I'm sorry. That's just me. But did we care about the match? No. This is about Apollo Crews giving Sheamus one hell of a hard whack to the face. And then Sheamus running away. I just feel like most of the work that has been done on maybe SmackDown, maybe Main Event, maybe Superstars, and it needed to be more on Raw. That's where the problem is. This has not barely been built on Raw, and probably has been built on all the other shows, and probably not everyone sees the shows, so we don't really have much of an interest there. I just don't see it. That's just me. The Sami Zayn segment with Cesaro was good. Seeing they did emphasize a little bit of their history together was okay. But I don't believe Cesaro should have won. No, I'm not. Cesaro should have won the match. That's the reason I botched. Because I really feel between Sami Zayn and Cesaro, who is the better talent? That's Cesaro. Cesaro has been given almost nothing until the last couple of months. And now, when it comes to this situation, if he doesn't win Money in the Bank, him having this new persona does not help. So I'm hoping it goes somewhere. Then, you know, I'm not going to go for all the matches here. I'm just going to the final match of the night, which I felt at one point was funny, but then became a big cluster. And that is the Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho match. Now, we had already a match between Sami Zayn and Cesaro. We got a match between the ADR and Kevin Owens versus the Lucha Dragons, which I felt was superfluous. It should never been done. And then you got Kane being interjected into this situation where he wants to go into SmackDown. Yes, it seems like a big cluster. I'm going from one little bit to another, to another, to another. And that's how the ending felt. Cesaro did a good job making it funny. He did. But then you got Sami Zayn at ringside. Then you have Kevin Owens at ringside, who's barely doing anything until Dean Ambrose knocked his headphones off. And then you got ADR, who was the special ringer, bell ringer. It didn't feel right. They could have, if they had to do this, they should have never had a winner. Dean should have never won against Chris. And they should have just had a brawl. That would have been a lot more easier than seeing Dean win, then seeing Sami Zayn win, and then seeing Kevin Owens and Cesaro win something. They didn't all need to win anything. They could have had some situations where they were at least seen and not overly exposed in the ring. That's how I feel this problem was. They were all overexposed. I know a lot of us want to see something done with them, but you don't need to have them always in the ring. They could have done some more segments in the back. They could have had brawls in the back. They could have done something outside the arena. When was the last time we saw the WWE do something outside an arena? That's just my point of view. Let's see here. The Darren Young and Mr. Bob Backlund. I want to see these guys go to the ring. I don't care if you got to put Darren Young in a suit or in a bow tie or let him dress exactly like Bob Backlund did in the 80s. I don't freaking care. You guys need to do something at the arena. They need to be seen. If you can get them in the ring, great. If they're waiting until SmackDown, then it's understandable. Let's get them at the arena. Let's have them in the arena. Having these video segments is cool, but we need to see them live at least once or twice before SmackDown goes online. Goes live. Because people are really going to get tiring of this. I'm not 100% crapping on it, but it's time to do something more. What else do we have here? We have, okay. As I said before, Shane was going to run SmackDown. And what did he say at the end of the show? He's going to run with Steph Raw. And now he's going to be running SmackDown. I knew he was going to it because the new talent needs him there. I don't know how long it'll work, but having him there actually makes sense. He's still hot. Put him on the hot new show, and it'll get over. And seeing that Steph really wants to do something to him makes me think by the time of Survivor Series, there's going to be some type of issue with them where there's going to be either he's going to go in the ring with Triple H, or maybe he'll go into Triple H at Survivor Series. That's how I feel eventually is going to happen. These guys are going to get in the ring together. Triple H and Shane McMahon will get in the ring together eventually. The Shield segment. I'll say this. Seeing all three of them in the ring was pretty good. Hearing them talk the way they do, like they had still been friends was okay. Seeing the situation where you really get an emphasis on how important the match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns is, and the little part with Dean as well, I felt finally they're trying to truly emphasize how important Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns is. But here's the problem. Interjecting Dean Ambrose, which wasn't bad, truly makes you feel like this is the second place winner in a race. And John Cena and AJ Styles are first place. Because that's how it really felt to me. And here we go with AJ Styles and John Cena. It was the best segment of the night. John Cena spoke well. Very well, in fact. AJ Styles spoke well. Very well, in fact. Michael Cole said freaking nothing. Thank you. That made me happy. I didn't want to hear Michael Cole's mouth other than just announcing John Cena, and he just stood there and was quiet. Seeing that there were two contracts, one with AJ versus John, and one with the club and AJ versus John. He gave him an option, which actually is very interesting. I don't think they've done that in recent memory. Not in a long time, if ever. And one thing I do take offense to. John Cena, before AJ Styles came out, talked about PWG. He talked about Ring of Honor. And he talked about ROH. Why not mention freaking TNA? Why? What would it hurt to talk about TNA? Vince, you want John Cena to talk about ROH, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and PWG. I know PWG is not the most strongest promotion, and ROH is not the most strongest promotion, but you could have mentioned TNA. And I know there could have been a chance where people would have been started chanting TNA, 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 especially after they did the Slammiversary. But come on, it would have made more sense. He spent the majority of his years at TNA. He did. He spent more time at TNA than PWG as well as Ring of Honor. He did. Yeah, he went back and forth between them, but he spent more time there and was the most recognized there. And I felt like Vince and John really made a mistake there. Because I know John Cena had to get it signed off by Vince. And Vince made the mistake and John made the mistake. I'm surprised people didn't start chanting TNA. That would have actually been good for them to chant that. But they didn't. And I'm just going to leave it at that part. But was the segment very good? Yes, it was. Do I actually have an interest in seeing the TNA guy versus the WWE guy? Yes, I am very interested. But here's the thing. I really truly believe, and I really hope I'm wrong, that when this situation is done, AJ Styles is going to be buried. I'm hoping I'm wrong because I really want to be wrong about this, but I just don't see it. I just don't see AJ surviving this. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below how you feel, and I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Please give me a comment below. If I forgot anything, I'm sorry. I will be getting my TNA done tomorrow or the next day. I have some stuff to do. I will be watching the TNA live show. And I still state this very clearly. TNA. Not everyone can get to see Explosion on Pop. Why don't you live stream on YouTube your Explosion fully featuring the X Division? Have a good day and have a good night.